Hey there, this is Jodi with Get Momentum, and it is my great honor today to introduce Debbie Godfrey from Positive Parenting.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, Debbie and I have been friends for years, and we've been watching each other's businesses. And one thing I really acknowledge and love watching Debbie in action is she helps parents get these communication tools and skills to deal with wildness in their kids. And I mean, there's no other way to say it. And I just think there's so many crossovers between kids acting out of control and professional relationships and even working with your spouse or, coming home and everybody having a rough day. It's like, how do we use these communication skills and tools, which is the theme for this month's Get Momentum? How do we use these skills to improve the quality of the relationships we have? So Debbie, hello, and thanks for coming.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
So tell us a little bit about power struggles, because I know that's one thing that you focus on so well. What are some tips and tools you could help us with for those in the membership that have kids and families that they're working with, as well as people with staff and professional settings where they're dealing with quite a few people that may be a little out of control?
Okay. Yes, well, power struggles is such a common form of misbehavior that occurs in childhood, and it's one that many of us never outgrow when we become adults. And so what I like to talk about is why kids and all of us power struggle, how to get out of them, and how to prevent them from happening in the first place. And the first thing we look at is needs. All of us are born with certain needs that we have to get met. The need to feel loved, the need to feel valuable, the need to feel powerful, the need to feel like we have a place, the need to belong. So from the time we're born, all of our behavior is designed to get those needs met. And we're going to do it either through appropriate behavior or inappropriate behavior or whatever works. So power struggles is one area that we find many kids will stumble onto misbehaviors to get that need to feel powerful met inappropriately, like defying their parents.
Yeah, and you can really see when they're running the show,
Absolutely.
And I've seen it as well with teams and groups where the people that are the most inappropriate in the office really get the attention, and they're setting the agenda. So this is a chance, to use some skills and tools, I think, to reward people and support people so that you're creating the type of work environment and home environment that you actually want to be having, and not just reacting to what's showing up and blowing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us, what's a practical, tactical thing that people could do when there's these power struggles going on?
Well, one thing is to ask yourself, how can I give this person more power right now? Because they're feeling powerless inside, they're doing the power struggle in order to get their need to feel powerful met inappropriately. They need some way to feel powerful. So you can ask yourself the question, how can I give this person more power right now? And if it's a little child, I had one mom who had this 3-year-old that was getting in all of the kitchen cupboards and taking everything out and drooling on it and making a mess. And just every day they were getting in power struggles about this. And so she asked herself, how could I give him more power right now? And she gave him his own drawer, had it down low, put his name on it. They got all kinds of stuff that he wanted to play with and put it in his drawer, and he stayed out of the rest of the kitchen drawers. So
Nice.
Thinking about how can I empower this person so they get that need to feel powerful met appropriately, so you're correcting the misbehavior, and at the same time that discipline or that interchange or that communication is self-esteem building. It's creating closeness and connection in your relationship, whereas some of the old forms of discipline or correction, if we're talking about adults, like, how do you manage people? If it's punitive and if it's mean, it's going to disturb or disrupt your relationship, and you're going to have less influence over that person in the long run.
Yeah, it's so important. And what I love about that is it's counterintuitively almost, that the power struggle is the issue, and the result, the answer, is actually giving them power.
Yes.
So, and in a creative way that you manage and these bite-sized pieces, that's what I really love about what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's so true, because I actually tell parents, I know the last thing that's going to occur to you when you're in the middle of a power struggle is, how can I give this child more power right now? And you have to have a championing of your human spirit and maybe have it written on a card somewhere and go, oh, this is that time I need that sentence. What is it? It's, oh yeah, it's, how can I give my child more power? And when you get the result you'll get, which is that you'll see your child, the misbehavior will correct and their self-esteem will be built and you'll have more closeness in your relationship. It'll be less and less hard to do that when you need to.
And it also sounds like you're building up the relationship and you're building this trust so that when you do need to do course correction, and I'm thinking about office relationships as well, you're not always the bad guy.
Absolutely.
That you get to be the good guy most of the time. And then every once in a while when you need to do the really, like, no, there's no negotiation on this one, it's not like the last straw.
Exactly. And we have a saying with parenting teenagers, rules without relationship equals rebellion. And so you must maintain that connection in your relationship with anybody, not just with teenagers, in order to have influence, in order to be able to have that real communication where they're just not tuning you out while you're talking.
So tell us, what's something, because I know that sounds so obvious, but it's hard, and I think we're all trying to do our best and build relationship and do the right thing. But what's one recommendation you have that builds trust along the way in small bite-sized pieces that we can actually do?
Yes, there's a tool and it's called GEMS, GEMS, and it stands for Genuine Encounter Moments. And a genuine encounter moment is direct, focused, 100% attention you place on a child, a spouse, a coworker, whoever it is. It's 100% attention. So it's, it's not like if a child brings you a picture and says, Mommy, look at this pretty picture. You're like, oh, that's nice, honey. You're not really paying attention. It's where you actually stop what you're doing and see the world 100% through that child's eyes or that employee's eyes or your spouse. It's where you're not distracted or busy. You're not on the computer. You're not on your phone. You're actually turning and giving them focused attention. What you have to say, what you have to show me is really important to me, and I'm paying 100% attention because you matter. You count. That's your attitude.
And it's incredible how technology is kind of filtered into business relationships and families where there's cell phones on the dinner table.
Yes.
People talk to each other via email or texting where this, close one-on-one where we're right here. We're not doing that as often.
Right. Yeah, it's a shame. And I think it really is much more often when I'm observing parents and children out in the world, it's the parents. I mean, the kids are like, Mom, put the phone away. Dad, you're always on the phone. Like, I need you. I want you to be paying 100% attention to me. And the great thing about genuine encounter moments or GEMS is that they only take 30 seconds to 3 minutes, and it leaves your child feeling loved and valuable and important. It prevents all kinds of misbehavior, including power struggles. And you don't have to run yourself ragged 24/7 every day, because your child is going to be saying, Mom, 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 Dad, 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 all day long. If you just do one genuine encounter per day per child, you're starting to build that relationship and that trust. And the other 99 times that they bid for your attention, you have choices. You can do another gem. If you have time to stop what you're doing, do another gem. If you don't have time, you can set a temporary limit. And you can say, what you have to say, what you have to show me is really important to me. And I want to be listening at 100%. And I'll be with you in 10 minutes. And you be with that person in 10 minutes or less, not 10 minutes and 2 seconds. Why?
The trust.
The trust. Right? You're building trust. You're building credibility. They need, even if your child doesn't tell time yet, I always tell parents, no cheating on this, that you come in on time. And one of the things I've done in my world is I've given myself more time I needed. So let's say I think I need 10 minutes. I'll say I need 20. And then I come in 10 minutes and I build even more credibility that way. Yeah. And what that created for me at home was kids who were patient and they would wait. If I said I need 10 minutes, they knew I was going to be with them in 10 minutes. And so they chilled and they didn't keep bothering me and interrupting me.
Yeah, there's some part where you've built the trust and they know that you're going to come and give them what they're wanting, which Absolutely. Is your complete and full undivided attention. And yeah. I just see the parallels of what's going on with offices and with clients yes. where, I hear about it when people are watching webinars or on conference calls and they're also doing 10 other things and they're not doing any one thing right. fully.
Right.
So they don't remember, they aren't fully present. And it shows in the long term, and so I love what you're saying about these gems is that you're creating moments together that are memorable. It doesn't have to be all day, hours at a time.
No,
it's these
it's not.
dropping in, and that's really powerful. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. And so what else? What else should we know about building communication skills with the people that are really important to us? So power struggles, creating these gem moments. What's one more thing that you can recommend?
Well, I would say thinking about the goal of revenge, which is the behavior where people are hurting and hurting back. So, you're mean, I don't like you anymore, or I hate you, or, disregarding your influence. One thing to know when a child or anybody's doing that is that they're feeling hurt, really hurt, and they're going to make you feel hurt the way they feel hurt. And so when you get into that situation, whether it's with a child or another adult, it's to realize, wow, this person is really discouraged. And the only way that he's getting his needs met is to make me feel hurt the way he's feeling hurt. And so right now it's time to kind of postpone discipline, postpone corrective measures, and connect to reestablish that relationship. Because remember, rules without relationship equals rebellion. And this person is not going to be able to be influenced by you until you can get that relationship connection back. And so it's really important. Yes.
I've just imagined the different work environments that I've been in personally and then as in our coaching and consulting roles. And, you can feel when it's a toxic environment. You can feel when there's vampire sucks that are just out to hurt and, the sarcasm and the negativity. And it impacts everybody.
It sure does. It sure does. And we have a sister program called Redirecting Corporate America where they use these same tools for parents and children, but with, employers and employees or bosses and subordinates. And one of the most powerful tools is something we call a mind trust agreement. And this is an agreement made by members of a family or members of a team, in this case, in a work environment, that you don't talk behind each other's backs. And that if you have a problem with somebody, that you handle it with that person. And so we teach this in families so that when they go into the world later on, into workplaces, that they really have that integrity of handling the problems with who they're with. Because all that backstabbing and that backtalking completely decimates the productivity in a work environment.
Right. And plus the trust in the relationship and just the will to come back to work every day.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So those are three really important focuses when you talk about, I think let's summarize, power struggles and the contradictory or the idea that you need to be giving more power in a structured way that makes sense to overcome that power struggle. Number 2 was gems, right? So creating these moments where you're actually 100% focused on the person, not looking at email, cell phone, talking on the phone, or any other thing, but you're sitting, preferably in person and doing, great eye contact and really connecting. Yes. And then 3 is the toxic environment. What did you call it again?
Mind trust agreement.
Mind trust agreement, that if there's an issue, you deal with the actual person and not doing gossip or talking behind their back or anything that's going to further harm the relationship. Right. Very good. Right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Debbie. And if you'd like to know more about Debbie's classes, tell us about the webinars that you do.
Oh, yes. I do a free webinar every other week on dealing with power struggles. You can find that information at my website at positiveparenting.com. And come and join me. Get on a phone call. It's an hour and a half. I do an hour and 15 minutes of dealing with power struggles and then 45 minutes of question and answer. And you can ask me anything you like related to parenting and discipline and behavior.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.